Hey, excuse me. Hey there. It's still October 5th, 30 minutes left in this day, and I've never made two videos in one day. Not for my vlog, vlogging, the vlogging man. Okay, I'm really full right now. I'm like stuffed with prayer energy. It's Today has been monumental. The way I can tell that I'm in flow, that I'm in motion, is because the material that is sparking up my my need to heal the outer world, the material I've been feeding on, is watching these amateur videos out of North Carolina, real live people reporting from the war front about their experiences with the hurricane disaster. The way I can tell that I'm in flow is because my mood is really stable. I've watched dozens of these reports, dozens, and it's not to the point where it's not clicking in like an addictive need to watch. You know how you can, like, the car wreck on the freeway, everybody wants to sit and stare at it. There's a little bit of that in what I'm doing, but it's different because I know when to stop watching. I know when to turn it off. And I know in past when there's been things that I've overgorged on that were newsworthy items or material, you start to retain too much of the raw emotional energy from the whole collective community of the world feeding on that. And you can get sad, and you can get depressed, and you can become apathetic or angry. There's so many emotions that can get welled up and triggered inside of you, and I'm not having that happen. So this is a sign to me. I'm still experimenting and learning about all of this. I'm my own teacher for the most part. This is a sign for me that it's coming in. I'm digesting it. I'm processing it, and I'm immediately feeding back out the healing prayer care energy. So I'm really kind of tingly in a way. I'm also kind of tingly now because I just got out of the steam room. I don't think I told you guys, but this house, I told a couple of people who see this, but most of you, I don't think you know. This house that I'm pet sitting in right now, they've got a steam room built into one of the showers in one of the bathrooms. And the owners told me, maybe I'm repeating myself, maybe I did tell you, the owners told me that they've only used, in all the time they've had it in this house, they've only used it like 3 times. And I'm like, are you guys insane? Why don't you have a line at the door of people coming in here like every night to use that thing? You could charge $10 a pop, and I'd pay you $10 to let me come back over and sit in there for half an hour once a week or something. It's so good. It feels so good. I've gotten an endorphin rush from it. It feels so good. Okay, that was like a self-care treatment for me. Again, after, I mean, seriously, watching dozens and dozens of these videos, that's fatiguing. Nobody should do that. And I think the reason I was called to do it was because the need for the prayer healing, the spiritual love prayer healing, calling in the angels, giving everybody their power. It's so massive now. The need is so massive. And so I feel refreshed from doing this. I'm not getting depressed. I feel refreshed. I could be eating a little bit healthier. I'm not getting enough vegetables or juices right now. So I might need to go and get something really healthy to eat tomorrow. But yeah, I'm just like, I'm up to here. I'm up to this level of satiation, satiation, satiation. I'm sated to this level of fullness. I'm going like to here because it feels like there's still like this much space left to fill to get to the top. I don't know. That's just how it feels. I had a flashback memory of, I've only had a couple of experiences in my life where I've prayed with other people, where I've had powerful prayer. There's really one, excuse me, one hallmark instance I had of praying young in my life, in my, I probably was around 30 years old. The last Christian church that I attended before I gave up on the Christian church was a so-called Pentecostal church. It wasn't an evangelical church. It wasn't an apostolic church. It was a Pentecostal church. But it was in Danville. So it was very polished, and it was very toned down. And the only thing that really made it seem Pentecostal, to at least qualify to be called Pentecostal, I mean, aside from it being, it was a member of the Foursquare Gospel Church movement, which is a Pentecostal movement. But in this, I don't know where this warble's coming from. Throat chakra. My throat chakra is maybe getting overused because I'm talking so much. Foursquare Gospel Church. The only thing that I ever witnessed that made it barely fit as a Pentecostal church to me compared to other Pentecostal churches I've been to was during the worship service when everybody was singing. For a very short moment, like maybe a minute and a half to maybe 3 minutes long, they were able to, as a group, sing in tongues, which is a phenomenon where the people, they let go, and the Holy Spirit takes over, and they voice sounds of adoration and praise that are disconnected from the mind. And you just make these sounds just flow out of your mouth. But when there's a room full of people doing this, at least 10 or 15, but this was a larger group. This was a couple hundred people. It starts to sound like the sound of angels speaking, angels talking. And it's a beautiful sound, and it's mesmerizing, and it's pretty authentic when it happens. But then that was it. Whoever the pastor was, I can't remember. I'll almost see his face if I think too hard. He had to put a cap on things getting out of hand. It was not a holy roller church. Anyway, I went there for a couple of years. This was the only time I've ever been a dedicated tither. The entire time I went there, I tithed exactly 10% of my income. And that was when I was making the most money I've ever made in my life, when I was working for Chevron Corporation. Never been able to, even then, it was an exorbitant expense for me. It was almost like spending money on an addiction. That's kind of how it felt. I was like, I'm addicted to this church. I'm addicted to wanting to fit in and be accepted. This was my last chance to try and break through and feel like I was part of a church community. And so I thought, okay, I'm tithing. You can't say I'm not doing my part to be a full-fledged, member. And I had one private conversation with this pastor where I said, I have, for all my Christian life, since I was 13, I've felt called to, and I have dreamed of dedicating my life to service in a church. And I would do anything. I was ready to do anything. I'll be, your gardener. I'll be your full-time janitor. Give me some kind of job or role to help me support my family. But my full energy is devoted to, the operation of a church. I mean, I had higher ideals. I wanted to be a minister. No, I'm sorry, not a minister. I wanted to be a missionary. Boy, I'm going really off tangent here. I got to pull this back. But yeah, I dreamed of being a missionary. If I had been in the Mormon church, oh my God, that's a whole nother story. I could have become a missionary, but that's really so different. And that's not Pentecostal. I loved the Pentecostal experience. I've been to other churches where I had full blown, I never experienced being slain in the spirit. I've never rolled on the floor. But I've spoken in tongues, and where I was going to with introducing this whole side story was to tell you about a morning prayer group that the pastor said he was going to allow to take place. 6 a.m. every morning, he was going to unlock this upstairs room, and he said, whoever feels called, come on down, and for an hour, you guys can pray. You guys, you girls, whoever comes. I was there the very first day that he opened it up because I had already been excelling in my prayer life. And one other person came. And so me and this guy, and he was a Pentecostalist. He was able to get elevated in the spirit. He was able to speak and pray in tongues. But we didn't pray together. We kind of walked around the room in a circle, and we're like, I'm not going to do it. We're like, yeah, so manskan. You visualize who you're praying for. The Spirit of the Lord comes through you and empowers the thoughts of your prayer wishes and demands and urges and sends it out, empowered and inflamed in the Spirit. And it was rapturous. The two of us, man, we were lit for an hour. And I went to that for about a month. And then the pastor said, nobody's showing up. I'm going to cancel. It's canceled. And I was like, dude, me and Henry, we've been there every morning. We were there every morning for a month, going in before work. I got up early to go there before I went to work. And yeah. Okay, I don't remember why I wanted to tell you about that, but there I did tell you about that. Okay, I think I'm done. Oh my God, 13 minutes. That's a lot of video for one day. Anybody watch this? Salute. God bless you. You're in my prayers. My grandkids, I love you guys. And I hope this helps you with your own lives one day. Good night.